What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So I'm gonna start this video with this hilarious clip of Muhammad Fada, which is from this year's men's open bodybuilding check-ins. So Fada is gonna be the 11th guy to walk out on that Olympia stage. And keep in mind, this is gonna be his Olympia debut. And guess who are the guys who are gonna walk out before and after him? That is Samson Dauda and Andrew Jacked. So a guy who is making his Olympia debut this year, I don't think he could get any unluckier than that. Because this also means he's gonna get to stand between Andrew Jacked and Samson Dauda in that initial call out. The way Fada says, "I'm done," that was so funny. But I have to say this also provides him with a great opportunity to showcase how good he really is in his first year.
Okay, so that's my number. Okay, 11. And I stuck between Samsung 10 and Andrew 12. Oh my god. Oh my god. I stuck between Samsung and them. Oh my god.
Another 14, Bruno Santos.
I'm done. I'm done.
Next up is Martin-Fitzwater. So the hype with Martin is 100% real. And there is absolutely no reason for Ian Valier to exaggerate what he saw in Martin at 3 days out of this year's Miss Olympia, which by the way is also gonna be his Olympia debut. And Ian went on to make such a blunt statement about Martin for his Olympia debut, as you guys can see that right here. So I guess he has to be drastically different than what we saw from him at this year's New York Pro. And we can all agree that his peak at the New York Pro earlier this year, that was so perfect from every angle. So maybe what Martin has been saying all along, that he is 5 pounds up compared to what we saw at the New York Pro. That is true. And Martin has really put in the work, especially on his arms and on his chest. And those were two of his only weak points.
That's how we do it. It's 1 in a million. Okay? That's 1 in a million.
So the guy is just 27 years old, and he is on his way to be potential top 6 at his first ever Miss Olympia. So I have to ask, what's his ceiling for the future in a few more years, as he gets more dense, more muscular and more mature? Maybe winning the Olympia title. Now I have to say that's a bit far-fetched, as the history has shown us that this is a very difficult title to get. I mean, you take a look at the 90s era, some of the greatest this sport has ever seen. Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levroni, Sean Ray, Nasir Al-Sambate and so many others. They ran through a decade of their professional career without winning that Mr. Olympia title. So in Martin's case, this is the perfect example of how a year off, away from the stage, working on yourself, putting on more size, that is paying off big time and in such a tremendous way. So it seems like that the one guy who's enjoying the carving up the most is the Brazilian's most beloved, Rafael Brandao. Not one, but multiple pictures were released of Rafael Brandao in these past 24 hours. And this is why I have said this so many times, that pictures and videos can be so deceiving. So the one that Brandao posted from his room, hitting a front double biceps, that isn't a very impressive one. And he certainly doesn't look like a guy who is 15 pounds up compared to his last show. But the other one that was taken in the gym lighting, that is absolutely sensational. So with the kind of shape and the height that Brandao has, such clean lines, absolutely beautiful. All he needs to do is to show up in that same condition that we saw from him at this year's Arnold, Ohio, or maybe something even better than that, and he for surely won't be overlooked. The judges absolutely love his physique, and why not? The added size, that will only make his lines even more beautiful, that will enhance his V-taper even more, and that will make him look even more impressive. And remember what Tal Mannion said about Rafael Brandao after he placed third at this year's Arnold, that there isn't even a single weak shot on Rafael Brandao. He is just so damn complete. So the former 212 Olympia champion Flex Lewis, who is Rafael's friend and his former training partner, he 100% believes that Rafael is gonna place top 5 at this year's Olympia, which by the way is huge, since the last time he was up on that Olympia stage, he was 10th. And it is kinda funny that a former IFB pro, he was asking Rafael Brandao to switch divisions and try classic physique instead, because he said Rafael Brandao will never be big enough to be in the first call out in the men's open. So maybe 2024 is the year when all these young guys, they are finally gonna take over.
it's very, very realistic that Brazil will be having an open class guy in that top 5. And then the bar gets pushed higher.
Next up, we have an update from AKim Williams. Undoubtedly one of the best side chests in the game right now. And people just do not give him enough credit. Especially for the kind of aesthetics, the shape, the flow, and the kind of detail that he has on the side of his legs. So this comment perfectly sums up Akim's mentality in regards to the predictions. In less than 3 days' time, it will all play out on the stage, and those predictions will mean absolutely nothing. So Akim's strengths, beyond just his side shots, his front shots are equally impressive. He has this ability to open up really, really wide. He showcases that insane size, that unbelievable width, and that too with such a tiny waistline and huge quads. And that is why the man has such insane V-taper. So this is gonna be Akim's first show of the year. And I get it, why people do not have him in their top 8, or some do not even have him in their top 10. And the reason is the man is just so damn inconsistent with his conditioning. And this has been the case for most part of his career, except for the year 2020, when he placed his career's best in the world, top 6 at the Olympia level. So that Arnold Classic Ohio Finals look, that is the one to beat here for AKim Williams. And as long as he does that, as long as he can beat that look, he is gonna be a strong contender to finish in the top 10 this year. And I have to say that is a very realistic goal, since Akim hasn't placed top 10 since 2021. So can Akim be considered a dark horse for the top 8 this year? A guy that no one is talking about. If you guys ask me, I think he can place as high as 9th. But do let me know what you guys think.
Aye, aye, Captain. Jack Sparrow's in the house.
So next up we have our reigning Miss Olympia, Derek Lunsford. So there isn't much the champ is gonna show, especially now when we are 3 days out of this year's Men's Open. But damn, look at those calves. He is gonna be insanely shredded. And that's the thing with guys that Honeyman Board trains. They rarely miss their mark. And even when they do, they are still better than all of the other guys. So Derek trained his back under the watchful eyes of his coach, as this was most probably his last or second last workout. Now, as a champion, Derek came under a whole lot of criticism for not having the best chest or shoulders or the midsection. But we are just so thrilled to see his back at this year's Olympia, because maybe this will be the greatest back of all time. Who knows? Because the thing is, we have seen this throughout this year's Olympia prep, that his back has not only gotten denser, but it has gotten a lot wider as well. So let's just give props to the champ. He did his work in the gym, and he has been such a great ambassador of the sport throughout 2024. Now, I'm not saying that the guy who represents the sports at its best, he should be Miss Olympia. The best body on the Olympia stage, he should be the winner. But still, I have to say, Derek as a champion, he has done such great things in 2024. Because I do not remember any other Miss Olympia who has put out as much content as Derek has this year. But the question is, will that matter on Friday, when it's time for Men's Open prejudging? Not even a little bit. All the eyes will be on Derek. And we all know how the system works. More people will be eager to point out his weaknesses than his strengths, because it is predetermined even by his competition that he is taking those back shots.
We'll start the process now. It's good. Tighter than Italy, obviously. So, posing's better. Legs posing in the sun.
Next up, we have a physique update from Hunter Labrada. So if people have Martin-Fitzwater and Rafael Brandao in the top 6, then that only means one thing, that Hunter and Brandon is out in people's mind. So I can tell you one thing, guys. The vacuum is gonna make a comeback on Hunter's physique, because after Italy, it seems like that the entire focus that has been on Hunter's midsection, and he has been making his abs his top priority every single day for the last 4 weeks. So posing under the sunlight, that gives you a totally different perspective on how things are looking. And what we have heard about Hunter all these years is that he looks a lot bigger in person than what he looks like on camera. And actually we have seen that so many times. So Ben Chow, his coach, he is really confident that Hunter looks way better than what we saw in Italy, which by the way is such a great sign as well, as we all want to see him a bit more tighter a bit more conditioned at this year's Olympia than what we saw in Italy. So how much the aesthetics and the overall shape of Hunter will impact his placings at this year's Olympia, that is gonna be really crucial. He is obviously gonna be a lot bigger, a lot more thicker, and a lot more denser than guys like Brandao or Martin. But those are the guys that I just mentioned. They have better lines, they have better shape, better aesthetics, and not to mention better midsections. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. This is gonna be a challenging Mr. Olympia for Hunter Labrada, and he needs to bring his all-time best. He needs to be at his 100% to really thrive in this kind of lineup. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.